So I think the Sunshine Tour is the toughest tour in the world. I got counted out for the first LIV event, the Centurion.
No way.
We've just been told now, I think 2 days ago, that all the events are going to be minimum 2 million rand.
Good morning, everybody. We are so fortunate this morning to have a really big presence in golf. And hopefully as I do the intro, you'll understand why this is a big one for us today. So we've got Neil Schietekat here with us today. 384 professional tours on the Sunshine Tour.
Starts.
17 on the Asian Tour. 10 pro in 2006. 4 tour wins. 93 top 10 finishes on the Sunshine Tour. KZN, Harry Smith. Am I right? Born and bred there.
Yeah.
Representing currently as a brand ambassador of Royal in Kensington, Royal Johannesburg. Current Zim Open champion. And was ranked 183rd at your best worldwide global golfer, which is an incredible ranking. You currently you're sitting on 524, which again, putting it into perspective of the amount of golfers we have and the talent we are up against, wonderful achievement. Welcome, Neil, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Where does Kokstad fall into the situation?
I was, my folks used to live there.
Okay.
And I went to junior school there.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we moved away there when I was about 12, 13.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I learned to play golf and had my first hole-in-one and all the rest of it.
So that's where it started.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I thought I was a sportsman of all sorts, so I played kind of everything. And then, yeah, I mean, we played on weekends there, obviously had a hole-in-one, and that was a big thing at 9 years old or whatever I was. And I've always played golf with my dad over weekends, and yeah, I'd kind of say that's where it started.
And when did you decide to take golf seriously, coming from a sporting background?
Yeah, so I was at Maritzburg College.
Okay.
Obviously big on their rugby and cricket and all the rest of it.
College.
And yeah, just I wasn't really enjoying anything else. I hurt my back in standard, what would it be now? I don't even know back then we called it standard 9.
Yeah, my
Grade 11.
generation.
Yeah, my generation.
Grade 11?
Yeah, grade 11. And then I think my dad just said, play a bit of golf for the rest of your schooling career, kind of to keep me out of trouble, I think. That he kind of knew where I was at all the time after school. And started showing a little bit of promise there, and then kind of played for the school team. And, there was a school coach there, Daryl Trod. He pushed for the golf side of things, and he always said to me, quit the rest of the stuff, and come play golf with us. And I did that. And then my dad, end of school, I said to him, gee, what am I going to do now? So he says, no, well, I'll give you a gap year, play golf. And 1 gap year became 2 gap years, became 3 gap years, and then I turned pro.
Well, just dive into that a little bit, just for everybody to get context, because people like enjoying where it all started, because you very humbly said that now, but you represented KZN at some stage. You represented South Africa at some stage. What was that? Do you think that had a lot of influence on where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think amateur golf's changed a lot over the years. I remember playing league. It was so strong back then. You're playing against guys that are 35, 40, past pros, playing against guys like that now. And I see amateur golf now being a lot younger. Like if you're in the Central Gauteng team now, I mean, I think the oldest guy probably 20 years old. Whereas we had a different ages where we were like, not often you'd have a 16-year-old in the team. It would be kind of 18, 22. Then you'd have a 32, 40 past pros and stuff like that. So that was really strong. And you played with these guys that used to be professional, and you learned from them, guys like Steve Williams from Modderfontein, Marius Lawrence. Those guys were pros, and they were good pros as well. So yeah, there was definitely, it gave me a stepping stone. But I don't think anything gets you ready for professional golf.
That's a good answer.
Very good answer. And why do you think the ages are getting younger? We always talk about it on the show. Is it specialization? Is it just equipment? Is it access to the game of golf?
I just think it's, a guy that's between 30 and 40, he's got a job.
Yeah.
So he can't compete against someone that's practicing every single day.
No.
You know, so these lighties are they're professional amateurs. So they're doing it. They're doing what I'm doing every single day. And you've now got a guy that's going to play against a guy that's obviously he thinks he can beat him. But in the long run, you're not going to beat him day after day after day. So that's why there's nice things now like Mid-Am. Those guys kind of go play that rather. You know, they don't play the Premier League. They'll go kind of play the mid-amateur, and then they can kind of compete against those guys because those guys have also got day jobs and they practice just as much as the next. So that's opened it up nicely for the guys. But yeah, just looking at the ages of the guys that are playing Premier Division, whatever you'd call it, RPTs. I mean, it's like I say, I think the oldest is like 20, 21.
But I mean, even if you look at the Sunshine Tour now, there's so many young guys turning pro at like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah. And look at the success we've just had in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, when that's obviously I know Neil played on tour with them. I mean, if you turned pro at 21 back then, that was like, what are you doing? That's so early. You're still a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't see that happening a lot back then.
Not at all.
But the tour was also strong back then as well.
Yeah. Played against some guys that played out in Europe, you know, like the Kevin Stones, the Des de Blanches, Bobby Lincolns, you know, those guys. A lot of people don't know who they are, but, you know, when you used to tee up with them, you used to get nervous. And, I mean, these are guys that you looked up to growing up.
They won everything.
Yeah, they won everything. I mean, they won over... I mean, Andre Cruz, all these guys used to play out in Europe, play out in Asia, wherever it was. I mean, McClarty's... You know, McClarty had 3 tour cards at one stage, and he was a great player. Now, like Arthur says, the guys are turning pro at 18, 19, just... Not because there's no point in the amateur scene. It's just, well, like, okay, cool, I've done what I've done now because I've done it at 15, 16, 17, whereas in my era, we did it at maybe the ages of 20, 21, 22, 23, and then we kind of turned pro.
Building your career to the point of when you're ready, which is interesting.
But why? If your sort of peak athleticism starts at sort of, 21?
Well, he answered it. I mean, golf is so strong at the moment, and... I mean, you've got kids playing, you've got, I think, under 14, under 16, under 19 formats now where you're playing interprovincial, nomads, golf RSA events. There's so many events that you can play now.
Yeah.
So they're using those events. And if you're obviously dominating those events, what's next?
Yeah.
You know, you play provincial, you get your SA colours, you've, ticked every single box. And they obviously want to take their career forward. What is the next step?
Yeah.
And it's also like that all around the world, in Europe, Asia. I mean, there's just kids popping onto the tours these days. I mean, look at the college players that are getting into like US Opens and the Masters. How they are actually playing, and they're also only 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
So I think the whole cycle of golf has just sped up to a point where accessibility is better, structures are better. Tournaments are all available all around the world.
Sponsors are more available.
Yeah, 100%. Back in the day, to get a sponsor, I mean, I looked at it when I was 18, 19, even equipment sponsor as an amateur was almost impossible.
It was impossible, yeah.
You know, unless you were best friends with one of the manufacturers or something like that, potential. But they would sponsor a handful of people, and it was impossible to get. Now, like a Titleist or a Callaway, they're sponsoring amateurs now, and Ping and, all the brands.
But there's also some rules that's changed around that because you couldn't sponsor amateurs.
100%.
Financially, there was rules against that. And I know that rule changed in the last 18 months or something like that.
I think you can get paid now to be an amateur.
As of recently, 3 years ago, you couldn't. They weren't allowed to.
And I also think these amateurs now, also by the time that they turn pro, they've probably played 7, 8 tour events.
Because the invitations,
for us back then, to get into a tour event was impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, we could pre-queue for the SA Open, that was it. Now, I mean, I'm sure Casey probably played 5, 6, 7 professional events before he even turned pro.
Yeah.
So, what else is there for him to do? Now I want him to actually earn money.
Yeah, but I can see that being strategic, to get them in early because, it's a very different tournament once you get to that particular level.
Yeah,
and I suppose it's a shock to the system, and now you evaluate and adjust.
And I mean, even if you look at the British Amateur, I mean, Christie just won the British Amateur, Ulrich won it last year. I mean, there's good things happening in amateur golf.
This weekend. There was another one this
Tristan
weekend.
Lawrence.
Tristan Lawrence.
Yeah.
Tristan Lawrence.
What?
He won
last weekend.
Last weekend,
Last weekend.
Yeah. So he's got 4 DP wins just out of the blue, which is great.
But it's amazing. We haven't just finished. I mean, we've had some incredible wins for South Africans in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just amazing where it's going. But Neil, I want to just humanize you for a second, because between all the golf and the busy schedule, which we'll go into now, you also your wife is Julie Keel.
Yes.
And then you've got 2 boys.
Yes.
So just tell us a little bit about all of that, and how you navigate the personal to professional life.
I'm interested to know this.
Yeah, you must take notes. Yeah, so my 2 little guys, Kane and Riker. Kane is almost 6 and Riker is almost 2. Yeah, you know, obviously it is tough with the traveling and stuff and being away from them, and but they understand it, and gives them a bit of joy if they see me on TV and they kind of know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's juggling it around, and you know, trying to not stay away from home for kind of my rule is like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Scared maybe they forget who you are, you know. The dog forgets who you are, so yeah, it's just juggling it around, and you know, I obviously, when I had them, I was a golfer, and I'm still a golfer, and as long as I can still provide and keep doing that, and you know, they'll understand one day, and if they go into the golf thing, then that's cool, and if they don't, that's also fine with me.
But I can imagine that being a professional golfer so much at home, that you must have a very strong foundation at home, and the wives pick up a lot.
Yeah, no, sure. They obviously back home, looking after the kids, sorting everything out, school drop, sport drop, all that kind of thing. You know, they've got a lot on them. They're obviously amazing human beings. They can they take. I definitely think they can take a lot more than we can. I think
100%.
You know, I get home and those kids start shouting and screaming, and I'm like, oof, I just need a little bit of time out here. I've been home for 2 hours.
I just need a break from the 3 weeks.
Yeah. I just need a holiday from the 3 weeks. You know, no, but they're awesome, and you know, it's always nice to come home to the little guys and the family. And just you realize that there's more to actually getting that little white ball in the hole. You know, a good day or bad day, they don't really know the difference. Yes. And you know, you're still their dad, and that's awesome.
If you watched Ricky's
I was just going to bring Ricky's interview. You know, Sam, and I felt it when he made that putt. You can just see the release, because he hasn't won for quite some time.
Yeah,
it was a ridiculous amount.
1,800 days.
Did you see his interview?
No, I didn't see it afterwards.
I'm not going to quote him to the word, but they asked him, you know, do you feel relief and, you know, winning, and it's taken you a long time, etc., etc. And he said, yes, of course, it's a, you know, weight lifted off my shoulder, but this is not everything.
Yeah.
You know, winning is great, but, you know, got my family, got my kids, I'm playing on the PGA Tour. So I think that maturity is also probably got him over the line at the same time, knowing that it's not everything just to win again.
Yeah.
And it sort of just comes naturally, you know, which is unbelievable to see.
But I suppose money also plays a role in that. Because when you get to a point like Ricky does, where it's not about the money, of course, there's always, you know, the money's always there. But I mean, he's done very well.
Yeah.
I suppose that plays a role, Neil?
He'll be okay, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
He also went through a dip, because he lost his card.
Yeah.
And because he's Ricky Fowler, he did get a lot of sponsors' invites to try and retain his card again, because he did lose it.
Yeah.
Which obviously he took it with both hands, and I think it's great that he took the opportunities, because not a lot of people get that opportunity unless you're Ricky Fowler or a Rory McIlroy. Not that Rory's going to lose his card, but
no, sure.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I think he's a great character for golf as well. I mean, he's been wearing orange for so long on Sunday, and I always think that's probably the reason why you're not winning, because you're wearing thunder orange every single Sunday.
Listen, that's I'm just old school, so I'm a plain guy, but that's quite modern, you know, Arthur. For your age, you should get to the program, buddy.
Yes, if you're not
orange will suit you on a Sunday.
Yeah, exactly, I agree with that.
Not with my pink skin tone.
But Neil, you 14 years on the Sunshine Tour. You know, the first thing before we go on to the Asian Tour and you're making that move there, quite a tenacity. And what's strange is, and you must please direct me here, it feels like something's happening in the last year and a half. Your finishes are incredible. You're getting some wins in between. Maybe take it from there for me.
Yeah, I'd actually say, from when we had the first kid, kind of things started changing.
Okay.
Like we've just spoken about, there's more to life than golf. And, I was obviously lucky first up when I turned pro. I had a couple good years to kind of look after myself and whatever. And then the little guy arrived, and it was a hectic time in our lives. He was in ICU for a month.
Shame, Neil, for what?
He was born with his intestines out of his stomach.
Okay.
But we knew it from the first scan.
Okay.
So it was a stressful time in our lives. And then obviously he was born and cleaned up, and 30 minutes later he was under the knife again and trying to get all the intestines inside.
Hectic, Neil.
Yeah, so that's why I got grey hairs.
Yes.
So and then he was in the NICU for a month, and it just kind of shifted my mindset a little bit. And then obviously the second little guy came around, and things just free up a bit, should I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I've been fortunate enough that I have played decently from the get-go. Had a couple of bad years in between, which is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the kids have kind of opened up my eyes a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite challenging if those that understand golf from an inside perspective. People on the outside think, well, Neil should just win every weekend. Why isn't Neil just winning, and why isn't everybody just consistently winning? But the competition in golf and being over a 4-day period, it's a whole different dynamic, than an hour on the tennis court or 2 hours on the tennis court, bashing it out between two players. It's every day is a new day.
Yeah.
And every day something else can happen.
Yeah.
And every other day another guy has his day.
Sure.
So it's very different than your traditional sport. But overall you've done incredibly well, and then you made the move in 2020, and you said to yourself you want to go to the Asian Tour. Just take us through that process.
Yeah, so obviously I've got great sponsor now. Obviously Rio Net, he's been with me Gavatricho's been with me for 4 years. As Arthur will tell you, it's not a cheap exercise to go to Q schools.
No.
And the financial part of it always kind of held me back. Because I was doing okay here, it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a comfort zone. It was just like, well, I've got enough to kind of live and play here, but I don't really have the cash to go over and spend 80 grand on a Q school.
Yeah.
But then I got into a position where I was like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable with going over, and went over and finished 4th at Q school and got my card. Played one event and then COVID hit.
I saw, yeah.
So then obviously didn't play for, I think, 2 years out in Asia, maybe a year and a half. But it was great for Asian Tour because when I got my card, they were a strong tour. But then obviously the Saudis hopped on and started pumping money into Asian Tour. And it's become obviously now one of the strongest tours in the world, with us playing for a decent amount of money every week. So, it was obviously not great at the time, but in the long run, now we're playing for good cash, and it's a proper tour now. So, it's exciting.
Well, I'm going to break us down the two tours, because there's very differences, major differences between the two. But let's just stick onto the Sunshine Tour for a bit. Just give us a day in the life of Neil currently as a pro, and just a little bit of insight into a Sunshine Tour tournament. What goes through your mind, prep?
Yeah, like we were obviously talking just now, you saying about the 4-round events, 3-round events, the emotions that you go through and whatever. I mean, Arth can tell you can you can be on a highest of high, and then the next shot you can be on the lowest of low. Obviously Sunshine Tour event, the guys are obviously, like we were saying earlier, younger, fitter, stronger, hitting the ball miles.
Yeah.
So I get to different courses, and obviously because I've played all of them a lot, 14 years is a long time out there. So I kind of know where I'm going to do well. I know where I need to grind, on which courses I need to play differently. I kind of do well on the tougher golf courses, where maybe the younger guys haven't kind of got that maturity level yet, which they will still obviously get. But I kind of dissect the golf courses. I kind of know that I'm not going to do well around Arini. I played it this year, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like I say, the tour's getting stronger. It's just about obviously playing to your strengths, especially out on the Sunshine Tour, because, you know, I've always said to everyone, and Arthur will back me up on this, I think the Sunshine Tour is the toughest tour in the world.
Okay. Why? Just go into that for me.
For the amount of money you're playing for,
Yeah.
and the competition that you're playing against, and the cut sizes are sometimes 40. You know, you don't get cut sizes of 40 anywhere in the world. So, yeah, definitely strength of field to the amount of money you're playing for, definitely by far the toughest tour in the world.
I mean, if you had to take 80 guys from the Sunshine Tour, and it's a big statement, and put them in Europe, they'd probably do decent. You know, if they had the opportunity, they're all bloody good golfers.
But even considering, so just hear me out, and forgive me for interrupting there, but even considering them traveling to a new country under new conditions, or is their comfort zone, I'm going to a braai this afternoon, I'm close to my house, it's our weather, do you think they'll perform great with the travel in mind, or if those guys come here?
It's a good question. And I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest. Okay. But what I'm trying to say, the depth in the Sunshine Tour, you're not seeing the same guy winning every single week.
That's a fact,
or
for sure.
Look at the back in the day, Jean Hugo, he would win like 4 or 5 times in a season and just, you know, dominate the season. Now, every week it's a new player winning. So I think it's just the depth inside the Sunshine Tour right now is really, really strong. I think the structures also change. Back in the day when I was playing, I used to had to pre-key for every bloody event. Now everything's a full field event, and you've got opportunity to play. You know, I basically had to Monday qualify to get into events. So I think the tour has just gotten strong. The level of golfers are just really, really good. The depth is good. The age bracket's vast now. And basically my statement is I think the tour is just relatively strong. And I think they'd be fine if they had opportunity to go. I mean, it's tough. I mean, you can't just snap your fingers and go play on the European or Asian tour. But the kids are good these days.
If they had to spend a couple years out there, you know, I don't think straight up they would obviously compete. But
100%.
The more time they spend there, he's just saying that they're good enough to play there.
Or get there eventually.
Yes.
And the other thing which Neil was saying earlier, which obviously takes time, is they're going to travel to Zambia every year for the next 5 years and get to know Zambia and Zim and all the other golf courses. You know, you'd sort of figure out what type of golf course suits you and what doesn't. And where you're strong and not. And then you can start figuring it out from there, you know.
Yeah, I suppose it's one of the biggest challenges for professional sports around the world. If you take tennis, I mean, then you play in Australia, then you play in America.
Yeah, you got hard court, grass court, clay court.
You know, clay court. They're exactly that. And it's similar to golf, where the greens are different, the grass is different, the cuts are different, the bunkers are different. And on the Sunshine Tour, I mean, do you still have hungriness on the Sunshine Tour? And how do you stay motivated? I mean, I don't think passion just goes away. Make no mistake about that, Neil. I'm asking literally from a viewer perspective. How do you keep yourself?
Yeah, look, obviously it is tough. And you do get weeks where you're like, I'm not going to mention golf courses, but I'm here again. This is hard being here. But, you know, you take all that out of it and you're there for a reason. You want to win or you want to provide for your family. So there's a lot of golf courses I get to and I'm like, I can't believe I'm back here again. But I'm sure you can think of a couple of them. But it is what it is, you know. You play well and you get paid at the end of the week and it's just another week.
I have a question because I'm not playing golf professionally, but I'm going through it right now. So when you were having when you had kids, like a newborn to 6 months phase, and you were playing locally in Joburg and you were staying at home, would you have to sleep in another room to get sleep?
definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, I kind of worked it out that,
Yeah.
you know, if I had 3 hours of sleep, I'd be okay. But if there was a tournament in Joburg, I'd be in the spare room.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, on 3 hours, I hear you when you say we feel okay.
Yeah.
But actually,
No, you're not okay.
No, you're not okay.
Yeah.
And
You're
your
not
body,
okay.
the
You-
chances of you getting injured is also
Yeah,
super high
super
because your
high.
muscles are
Yeah.
just.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was good prep for me for jet lag going to Asia.
Yeah.
Because
Is it?
sometimes I only get an hour's sleep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to get onto it again.
And then it's 40 degrees outside and then you need to compete. And you've had 1 hour of sleep. And those electrolytes are going freaking, you put a drip in, get the
Yes.
electrolytes in. Yeah, that's just another whole different discussion.
It shows you how life just prepares you for things.
Yeah, you see, it just kind of gets you
Yeah.
ready, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I really admire your tenacity, Neil. Absolutely incredible. And your presence. When you walk in, and you won't remember, but I met you a while back, and your presence is just incredible. You have an incredible level of respect from all the players. And when I dived into a little bit for this interview, everybody only has good things to say. On the tour, you've obviously seen the tour quite evolved over now 17 years. But in the last 3 years with Thomas and them and what they're doing, do you see a big difference?
Yeah, you know, obviously all our other commissioners were also really good.
Really good, yeah.
I think Thomas has just got a different avenue that he's going down.
Yes.
You know, a younger side of things, and we've just been told now, I think 2 days ago, that all the events are going to be minimum 2 million rand.
Okay.
unreal.
So that's really good. So, you know, there were a couple this year that were 1,250.
Okay.
Those will all be bumped up to
That's
2
a
million.
big difference, ne?
You know, now
Back
like
in
I
the
was,
day, was
Yes.
the winters were like R1 million.
yeah, my first event that I won was that I won at Platinum Classic at Moino was 500,000. So
The
you
whole
know,
pool, ne?
the whole pool.
Yeah.
So I won 90 grand. Yeah. So you know, he's done good things. So those are all 2 million now. So now you can actually make a living here. You know, you can make the cut and say come last.
Yeah.
It can kind of at least cover
Cover
your
costs.
week.
Yeah.
You know, you're not
Yeah.
going to retire on it.
Yes.
But at least you can kind of make a living out here now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think last year there was 33 events. So if there's 33 events this year, 2 million minimum.
That's 64 bar.
You know, yeah. And then you've obviously got the co-sanctions
Got you.
that
Sorry.
were
All the
way
challenge.
more.
Sorry,
All
got
the-
you. Which
and the
goes up to
challenge.
5 million.
Yeah,
ne?
yeah. So, you know, you're playing for nice amounts of money. So the guys can make a good living here, you know.
That's really good, man. I mean, any mom or dad with the kids at the moment, or kid thinking, is this because, you know, I suppose just like rugby traveled that in the 90s, late 90s, you know, it wasn't really a financial career.
No.
It was sort of a doctor becoming
Yes.
a player. But that's encouraging to know because you can actually make it on tour, you know. Listen, I say that lightly
Yes.
because you obviously have to perform,
Yeah.
you know, to still get into those categories. But that's really, really good to know, Neil.
It's nice to see that the players coming from an ex-player,
Yeah.
players are actually getting looked after.
Yeah.
They can actually make a career out of it, even if you have an average season.
Yes.
Where back in the day, if you had an average season, you would be in a deficit.
Yeah.
I can even remember going back, if you finished 20th at an event, in a winter event, you probably would make a loss.
You'll have a loss,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
100%.
by a couple of grand.
Yeah.
Pay your caddy, travel, food, accommodation, all of that stuff, and you'd make a loss, which was tough. I mean, that from a mental struggle,
it's
like,
just
unless you Neil Schietekat still
No.
on tour for 17 years,
Yeah.
you know, things are okay. But for the other guys, it was massively tough, like mentally, because you pushing to try and make it a career, but
Yeah.
you don't see
Yeah.
the benefit from a career perspective back in the day. And I mean, I'm so happy for the guys on the tour at the moment. That's just amazing.
Yeah, I feel the excitement. And if we could stick on the Zim, I want to just speak about the Zim Open you just won. Something I found very interesting, what you quoted on an interview. It was sort of on a random hole. And you were 7 under on that Sunday morning before kicking off. Am I right in saying that?
Before kicking off, I
The
think
Sunday.
so going into the final round,
Yes.
I was 7 ahead.
Yeah, 7 ahead.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah.
7 ahead. And you said, so with all your experience in mind, you said the following. I did not really know how to go about things on the Sunday. Just take me into that mindset. Can you remember that?
Well, I don't think many people have gone into a final round with a 7-shot lead, you know. So the course was playing tough.
Yes.
You knew that if you did have a little bit of a bad hole, you know, that those 7 shots can kind of disappear quite quickly.
Yes.
So, you know, do you go out and play par golf? Do you go out and try win by 15?
Do you remove your driver out of the bag?
You know, there were so many things that were going through my head. I wasn't too sure what to do, actually.
Okay.
And, you know, I spoke to Dougie the night before, and he just said, well, you know, go shoot your 6 under that you just shot on the Saturday. So I was like, okay, well, that's a good way of looking at it. And just played the exact same golf that I played the first 3 days, did exactly what I did. Obviously, the score wasn't as great, but it didn't have to be. But it was definitely uncharted waters for me for, you know, 7-shot lead. Then turning after 9, seeing an 8-shot lead. And then, you know... The mind is a strong thing.
Your tee shot on 10, you know, you hit it right, you're gone. You hit it over the green, you're gone.
The mind is a strong thing, because then you kind of start going, well, you know, if I lose this 8-shot lead, who's going to give me the most crap? Is it going to be the press, or is it going to be the press, or is it going to be your mates? Yeah. So, you know, and the 10th is not an easy hole. And
11th is also not easy.
Right, and there's water left. I actually pulled it left. I driver there all week. I pulled it left all week, and trees Bob the Sunday, ball goes in the water.
Yeah.
And then obviously you start getting a little bit, okay, well, you know, double here, I'm 6 shots there. And then you get onto the 11th, and I hear earlier on, while I'm on the putting green, guys are putting it off the green on the 11th. And now I'm going, okay. I managed to make par on 11 and kind of just coasted in, and I was playing with a youngster.
Was it Adam?
No, I played with Adam the third day. Jonathan Bromhead, and he was actually going nicely, and I kind of just jumped onto his vibes for the next couple of holes, and you know, it was like I say, it was. The mind is a very, very strong thing.
So do you say having a 7-shot lead going into the final round versus having a 1-shot lead? Huge different mindset.
Just sorry, it's basically what you're saying there. It's mine to lose, or it's anyone's game.
Yeah. Like, I think a 1-shot lead, you know what you have to do, you know.
You're just going to have to go play good golf.
7-shot ahead, you don't, you know what you need to do, but does your mind allow you to do it?
Yeah.
So,
and your body doesn't going to move correctly with my mind.
Yeah, it was definitely a strange one for me.
So how does it feel? Because that was a great win for you.
Yeah, that was.
But you're not the most emotional guy. Or am I wrong? Is it TV time that it's less so, or?
Behind the scenes, I'm quite emotional.
Okay.
With my mates, with a couple of beers and a couple of brandies.
Okay.
Out on the course, there's a lot of emotion inside me. I've never shown it. There's a couple small fist pumps that I walk to the next tee box and I'm like, did you fist bump there? I'm not the biggest fist bumper, you know. So it's like there's definitely a lot of emotion inside. I definitely show it afterwards, behind the scenes with my mates. As Arth knows that I'm a bit of a joker, and what you see out there is a lot different to what I really am.
And on the golf course, totally different person to when he's off the golf course.
Yeah.
You'll joke around on the golf course, but when he has to hit the shot, he hits that shot, boy.
Yeah, my first impression was quite a serious guy. Subsequently to that, I found out it's quite different.
But I was also the same. When I bounced onto the tour, you know, I thought he was very unapproachable, and he was mates with one of my mates.
That's good summary. If I have to be completely honest.
I said to Biggsy, I was like, what is up with Neil? Like, I can't put my finger on him. Does he not like me, dude? Like, you know, he's sort of someone that we both know. Like, I should be able to feed off him a little bit. But actually, off the golf course, he's an unbelievable guy. You just got to get to know him a bit. He'll surprise you in a good way. Like if you actually want to spend time with him, and I've seen Michael Koch. He's actually drawn himself to Neil, which is a good thing. I think people need
Michael,
to.
good mates.
Yeah, we're becoming very good friends. Yeah,
Oh, that's so
I like
cool.
I like his vibe. I
Me
like
too.
it. It's positive. You know, it's yeah. I enjoy positive vibes. You know, there's a lot of negative vibes out there.
Yeah.
On any tour, you know, when players do well, other players, I wouldn't say jealous, but you know, they don't really want you to do well.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's sport. It is what it is. Where he's just all in. He's happy for everyone, and you know we should be happy for him too.
Shame, and everybody's, because I see the Sunshine Tour is releasing a first episode on behind the scenes, Michael Koch.
I saw that, yeah.
And it's so good what you just said there to me, because one of my questions was how other players see Neil.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, it's a good compliment that people are feeding towards him.
Yeah.
Because number one, he's approachable.
Yes.
I mean, back in the day, I'm not going to mention names, but I thought there were a couple of chops on tour.
Yeah, they just
you would
were-
greet them and
yeah,
they'd literally
yeah.
walk past you and be like, just
I'm
you know,
better
walk
attitude.
past. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's irrelevant right now. I mean, we're supposed to be talking positive, not negative here. But I think it's a good compliment for Neil that people are approaching him in a sense. I mean, he's got 17 years, and the fact that he's approachable is really, really good. And you know, I think it's great that players actually want other players to do well at the end of the day, because that's also good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, positive. Like, if you're going to think, okay, I'm playing against Neil on the final day, miss all day, bro, you're going to miss yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, you just got to live life clean, you know?
So it's almost a moment, Neil. So if you had to summarize yourself, because obviously that intimidating factor also is a little bit around you, you know, and maybe not for everybody around you, but you know, from a distance perspective. But is it good to have an open mind on tours with other players and etc.?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you know, the guys that have got to know me out on tour, they, you know, questions, I'm all up for questions, you know, come chat to me. What should you be doing? What shouldn't you be doing? I can't tell you I'm going to give you the right answer all the time, but I'm going to have my, you know, everyone's got their own opinion. But I definitely think over the years I've become more approachable.
Yeah.
And I see a lot more youngsters coming to chat to me and asking me questions, and where should they be staying? Where should they, you know, all that kind of stuff, and when they should be flying in, and, you know, even on golf, how would you play this shot, and how would you do this? So, you know, that's awesome, and I'm all open for it, you know.
Do you think kids have something to do with that?
I definitely think so, yeah.
I didn't think of that question.
Definitely more open to chatting about how we do things, definitely, yeah.
So, just on the Asian tour, another quote that I want to do, because your stroke average, and I know that you've played a lot more events on the Sunshine Tour, but your stroke average is slightly worse, and I hope that's the right word, but you are 69.8, or call it 70 in South Africa, and you're about 73 to round it off on Asian Tour. A bit of insight into that?
I think that'll come from the beginning of the year, when I was kind of not too sure where I was at with my swing.
Okay.
And we played some really tough golf courses.
Okay.
We played in Doha, and we played in Oman. I think the cuts were like 5 and 6 over par.
Okay.
We play way tougher golf courses there. We've only got a handful of events where the winner would be like 16, 17 under par.
Okay.
So in this last week, I was telling you guys about Korea. There was only one guy under par. So definitely play way tougher golf courses. It's another thing that I'm obviously trying to get across to Sunshine Tour, that we need to play tougher golf courses.
Yeah.
To go back to Kitwe every year, bro.
Yeah, that was a little too tough. But just kind of like, you know, we need to get tougher golf courses here, or set them up tougher, so that we can kind of
set them up tougher.
We can step to the next stepping stones,
Yeah.
especially for the youngsters. You know, if they had to go to a Q school in Europe or whatever, you know, you're not going to get par fours at a driver lob wedge. It's all driver 4-iron, 5-iron, driver 7-iron, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Par fives that you can't get up on 2, so you need to now work a way to make your birdie. So yeah, definitely way tougher golf courses in Asia.
I also think courses in South Africa can be set up a bit more tougher. I think from a green speed perspective, sometimes I think the greens can get faster. I know we've got heat element to that, and I'm not a greenkeeper, but build up the rough a bit, man. You know, you can go to Irene and hit it 30 right, and you might as well lie in the fairway. Type of a thing, you know.
Our first cuts are good.
Our first cuts, sometimes our only cut is the first cut as well. You know, where you go overseas. I go onto the PGA Tour. There's fairway, first cut, and rough. Every time. You know, and you hit it in that rough. It's with those green speeds, you got to do a good job to get it on the green.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes back home here, the wider you hit it, you actually got a better shot in, you know.
100%.
So, but we played Sun City about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and that was probably set up the toughest we've ever played. I
was just going to ask,
and that was awesome. There was rough, tee boxes were back. Guys were moaning, but how are you going to get better?
Yeah, 100%.
Listen to this. That was awesome.
That was amazing.
I hear what perspective he's coming from.
I also, for me, enjoyed playing tougher golf courses because you grind it out. It's tough for everyone. And if you grind it out, you can actually perform really, really well. You know.
And you shoot your 68, 67, you're jumping spots where, you know, you play a place, nothing against Dainfern. It's obviously a lacquer golf course, and I also enjoy playing it there, but you shoot 67, you're losing spots, you know, which, I mean, obviously everything's relative. It's obviously an easy golf course, so you must play better. But, you know, you're not going to go over to DP World Tour and shoot 67 and lose spots. You're going to shoot 67 and make spots.
But even for amateurs, for us, it's more interesting to watch.
What? Going
tougher,
100% for me.
I mean, when I see a guy and he's off the fairway, I'm like, here's the skill set coming about. We're about to see the skill.
Now we're going into the tougher parts. I've got a question for Neil. The golf ball change. I know they're probably never going to do it, and I don't
see it.
I can't ever see it happening from a financial perspective, to be honest. But did you see that big jump and change from the, like, let's call it the 2013 ball to the 2017 ball? Because obviously the ball shape's less now. We all know it. And you've obviously played back in the day to now. So do you think if they change a golf ball so that it would go shorter and shape a bit more, that it would benefit you or golf?
I mean, I still think that the short hitters are going to be short hitters and the long hitters are going to be long hitters.
100%.
You know, the ball might just move a little bit more in the air, but you know, these guys are doing it every single day. We're doing it every single day, so we'll figure a way out. We'll find a way, you know. I mean, when the groove changes, when we changed the grooves, I actually remember I was playing the British Open, and it was the first week that the new grooves were implemented into the game, and guys still spin it. They can spin it backwards. You figure a way. You're doing it every single day. So and we've got machines like TrackMan and GC Quads, and we've got all this equipment, you know. It would make it more interesting, I think, because there will be more movement on the golf ball. But you're still going to have the short hitters and the long hitters.
100%, totally agree with you. And while we're at controversial, your view on LIV Tour?
I think it's awesome. I think it's, you know, I think the PGA Tours obviously had the monopoly of golf for 100 years or whatever it is. A little bit of competition is always awesome.
Always.
And, I think it's really good. The vibes yesterday that I was watching at Valderrama there, it was amazing.
Unreal.
You know, the music in the background, it's different, you know. Golf is going to go that way, you know, this
100%.
This serious, obviously there's time to be serious, but this like same thing every week kind of gets boring. I don't watch golf, to be brutally honest with you. I watch the Masters, and that's the only thing I watch.
I'm exactly the same.
So I think it's awesome.
But I see. I can watch golf again. I can sit for 4 days. I'm one of that 100,000 people on the Sunshine Tour on a Thursday afternoon.
But I do think LIV has, going back to that, has made watching golf a bit more fun to watch. Like, just from, and hear me out, just from a viewing perspective, they throw up some tweets, you know, from their main Twitter page. I'm watching live. I'm watching Dean with my cat.
Yeah.
Like random shit like that.
Yeah.
You know? Or the live feed leaderboard and
The YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTube and just the format. Like, if you have a favorite team, you want your team to win. And just because Dustin is leading doesn't mean your team's just going to win because your other players could be playing crap.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool element. And just to spice it up a bit, I think it's a great element for golf, just for viewership. I think it's going to be great for sparking that spark, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but if you don't know by now, I mean, the PGA Tour has accepted and adapted so many of the format from LIV, you know, and it's a typical thing. I mean, even your sponsors understand that new competition comes in, you sort of, you know, but then it makes you better.
Exactly.
It grows you. It
100%,
pushes you.
100%.
And eventually there's space for everybody.
Yeah.
But it grows the industry that you serve.
That's awesome.
I hope Rory joins LIV.
I think ego-wise he can't.
That will be the biggest thing this decade if he joins LIV.
That'll be good for viewership.
100%. 100%. But he'll get slated.
Yeah, but even Kuka must just go to a boxing fight. You know,
he'll lose.
that will also be incredible.
He'll
to
probably
see.
join Kupka's team because this team's the moment.
But on the Asian tour, you said there specifically, if you don't mind, Neil, just giving us a bit of insight. You said the chipping is different, the putting is different, the driving, the irons. From our perspective, what do you mean?
So you've obviously got a lot of grain in Asia. I don't know what it's probably just what.
I played in India, so I totally get it. Like,
Yeah.
I had to change my wedges, like, because I got there and I was a very good chipper. All of a sudden, I'm like duffing chips, but it's not like duff like I'm hitting the ground. The ball's just not reacting to the grass like what we used to hear with Kikuyu.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the grain is different, the grass type is different, greens are different. Like, it's total different golf courses too.
Yeah, you can read a putt and you can see the slope and the mountain, everything off the right, and it's probably a cup right in your mind. But then you got to look at grain. The grain could be pushing up the hill, so now you're not hitting a cup right. Now you're hitting it like inside right.
Yeah.
But now for your mind to kind of go, well, I see all the slope at the right, but now I'm actually not leaving the hole. It's you got to adapt.
Yeah.
And the chipping's tough because now you've got grain. It's tight. You know, it can make you look stupid really quickly if you're not if you don't know what you're doing. Use more bounce. I use more bounce there, so I'll chip more with a 56 degree than a lob wedge. The chipping and the putting's the biggest change for me there. Yeah.
And on, so if you just take us through your mindset. So we always talk about overthinking in golf. Where are you at the moment? So you see all of this, you see the grains different, you need to adapt a bit. You're going to get, what goes on before the time and by the time you go down for approach?
Yeah, look, obviously you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to kind of sort out how you're going to be playing those things. So I wouldn't say that I'm thinking so much about it.
Okay.
Once I get there, I'm not walking up to it and going, "Oh, I'm into the grain here."
Okay.
It's like, well, okay, cool. I've practiced it with the 56. I'm going to play it. I'm going to execute it, and then it's gone. It is what it is. You know.
And you go down.
You go down. You hit it. Execute it. Off you go to the next shots. You know. I think I'm quite good in that aspect. Whereas, you know, I've done my work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm not now going to miss the green on the first hole in the morning and go, okay, well, how am I going to play this?
Okay.
Walking up there, cool. Okay, it's not a 60, it's a 56. I need more bounce. It's going to come in lower. It's going to have no check on it.
Yeah.
And it's going to roll out. And that's it.
And just talk to me. You're very busy. You play a lot of tournaments. Your body has also gone through a lot, you know, over the years. What has changed, and what do you do currently because you look incredibly in shape? It look, I don't know if Arthur, but honestly,
it's all the milk he was drinking in Cockstad when he was a kid.
straight out of the cow. How do you do this? How do you still stay in shape the way that you do?
Well, I'm still only 39, so I mean,
Listen, not your age, but your body has gone through a lot.
Yeah, sure.
And with back injury as a kid.
Yeah, so obviously I was big into the training at one stage in my career.
Okay.
Probably overdid it a little bit.
Okay.
That hurt my body a little bit. I'm just a box clever now.
Okay.
You know, don't overdo it. There is place for it.
Yeah.
A lot of foam roller. That's my best friend on tour, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I know what I can do and what I can't do. You know, you won't see me in the gym on a Wednesday picking up dumbbells and going. You know, some players can do that.
Yeah.
But you won't see me there. I'd rather be stretching and on the foam roller. And you know, I eat pretty well. I don't eat rubbish, which is it helps a lot. I've always said whatever you put in, it's like fuel, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd know it, Arth. I mean, if you're eating the wrong stuff, you're not going to feel great.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the nutrition out on the golf course helps a lot. But yeah, definitely got myself into shape the last, say, 3 years. I was a bit plumpish.
Okay.
I was a bit plumpish.
Do you think it was based on COVID because there was nothing else to do?
Yeah, I think it started there, you know, because obviously you're stuck in the house and I've got my own little gym at home, so that helps. You had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So it kind of started there and kind of just, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm in the gym every single day, but I watch what I eat and like I say, I box clever.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably why it's so important for young golfers listening to this is to make sure that, you know, when you get to a particular experience, because I agree with you, age has got nothing to do with it. If somebody says that, I'll show you examples of guys at 60 looking more fit than most 30-year-olds that I know. But it's to make sure that you keep a certain foundation so that your body is able to play, because it's, you know, like I'll just repeat it, not on the age side, but the amount of rotations that you have done in your life is, you know,
and on and off planes.
and on and off playing, you know.
Yeah. Can't always fly business class in economy.
Correct.
I'm 6'3", so it's not the most comfortable place in the world to be. But you make a plan. It is what it is. You know, you can't cry tears about that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, the guys that do moan about that, they don't succeed.
Yeah.
But if you just get on with it, like I say to you, get over the ball, get to the ball. I'm going to play it this way. Cool. Oh, well, it was a crap shot. Well, it is what it is. If you're going to cry about the traveling and the jet lag and all that kind of stuff, well,
Different food.
then the different food. I mean, everyone complains about the food. You know, I find one meal and I stick with that thing the whole week. You know,
100%.
that's it. I don't even veer. If it's Korean barbecue, it will be Korean barbecue from Monday to Monday. It is what it is. I don't even think of looking at anything else. If it didn't make me sick the first night, it's not going to make me sick the second night.
I was exactly the same in India when I was in India. Butter chicken with a roti.
Yeah,
that's it. That's my meal, staple diet the whole week, and that's what I'm eating because it didn't make me sick.
And then the people are like, "What are you eating tonight?" No, I'm eating it. No, but how can you eat that every night?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't make me sick.
Yeah. And you've played a hell of a lot of courses around the world. What's been your favorite one and why?
So, you know, I have played a lot of different ones.
Please throw your worst in there as well.
Yeah, I will definitely.
I was going to ask,
I have to say Sun City for me.
Is it?
Yeah, even courses that I've played abroad, Sun City is definitely up there with, you know, it tests everything. It's if you're not driving it well, it's going to penalize you. If you're not hitting your iron shots well, if you're not hitting it pin eye, you know, that kind of stuff. And if you're not chipping, you know, it's gonna bugger you up if you off on anything. A couple of courses, obviously, in England and Scotland, obviously the Carnousties and the King's Barneses are really nice. Obviously, difficulty-wise, those are right up there.
Yeah.
Worst course?
Yeah.
You're going to have to make sure you don't hit soft spots on other people.
There's a couple here in South Africa that are, they amazing conditions.
Yeah, we're not saying.
Worst course for Neil Schietekat.
Yeah. I would say definitely a course like Irene is definitely not my favorite.
I think that goes for a few people.
Yeah,
not just.
but I mean,
that was my pre-Q heaven. I love that place to pre-Q. Yeah, that was my spot. So it's relative.
I mean, condition-wise, it's obviously always in great nick and whatever.
Nick,
it just obviously just doesn't suit my eye. It's incredible. I get there and I actually don't even know if I'm hitting a fade or a draw. So, but then obviously you can go to some you can, I mean, even though I said I love Carnoustie, you take Carnoustie on a rainy and windy day, I'd rather be in Afghanistan with a freaking bow and arrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just doesn't get any tougher than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, two things I want to do. Let's just start with the state of golf for you, and you give incredible insight. So, let's say a guy turned professional 1 year ago. His perspective of golf is going to be a lot different than your perspective. What do you see the state of golf in South Africa, and
The state of golf meaning
in the world? Sorry, the state of golf in the world.
where it's going, or
Where it is.
It's only getting bigger. Like, I mean, I remember at school, when I was at school, golf was a nerdy sport, whereas now it's very far from it.
Very.
You know, obviously Tiger's taken it to the next level of becoming an athlete, to being able to play golf, and it helps that he's obviously had the career that he's had, because he was probably the best in shape golfer in the world at his peak, and he was the best. So that all kind of helped, you know. It's only getting stronger, and it's only going to get better, and people are only going to hit it further. And there's going to be more competition, and there's going to be more kids that want to do it. So it's just going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. I mean, I see in Asia, the kids are starting at 5 years old. They've got a team of coaches, physios by the age of 11, 12. They get pushed so hard over there. If they like it, if they don't like it, they don't have a choice, you know. So it's only going to get tougher for the older guys.
Neil, and just the second last question, a little bit of insight on the tour. What is the feeling Sunshine Tour now? Because obviously when it comes to the Asian Tour, there's a far less South Africans, so I would assume everybody sort of sticks a little bit more towards themselves. But what is the Sunshine Tour vibe like? You know, when you guys are playing, let's say on a Thursday and a Friday and a Saturday and a Sunday, what is the general vibe like on a tour?
Yeah, pretty good, eh? The guys are, you know how life is. Everyone's not going to get on with everyone.
Yes.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. No matter how nice or whatever you are.
Yeah, but everyone's really nice on the Sunshine Tour. It's like a family.
Yeah.
But it's like, go back to amateur golf, you know, like 9 out of 10 times the guys that played for Western Province stick together. The guys that played for Central stick together. It's kind of how it goes. But everyone's friendly with everyone, and it's a good vibe to be out there. The Zimbos stay together. The Zambians stick together. But there's no, I mean, obviously in sport there is bad blood, but there's not much out there. Everyone kind of deals with everyone. Vibes are good, and it's only getting better out there because it's younger. You know, I always find that the older players have always got the issues, should I say. Where the younger guys, they've come from amateur golf, they don't really know what's what yet, and they just kind of get on with everyone, which is awesome.
And traveling now to Asia, have you made quite a bit of mates out there? Because I know it gets lonely out there. Traveling on your own. I don't know if you travel with your caddy or not.
No, so I travel on my own. It does get lonely, but we've got Jaco Ahlers, JB Kruger, Ian Snyman. So and
great
obviously
guys you just mentioned
the Vincent brothers, Scott and Kieran. So those are great guys. You know, you do the odd dinners with them, so that's pretty cool. But other than that, you travel on your own. You sort yourself out, and you'll see them at the next event. But I like to be on my own. I don't mind being in my own thoughts. But if you know, they always you're always inviting the South Africans or the Zimbos out for a dinner or whatever, and it's only an hour and a half. But at least there's a little bit of home there. And then you're there for yourself. You're not there for a team. So you kind of got to get out of that mold. And I think that's where the PGA Tour players did so well. You know, they're there for a reason. They're there to do a job, and they go
stick in their own lane.
And then a last question from my perspective: what do you still want to achieve in golf?
Yeah, look, like you were saying earlier, that my highest rank is 183rd in the world. It's 544 now. That's purely because of the new ranking system.
I saw that.
Like, we get so little points here.
But But
Yeah.
do you think that's going to change?
I don't think it's going to change.
Okay.
You know, it's the way it is now. It is right.
Yeah.
Because you know the fields that we got back home are not as strong as a PGA Tour field, and
Yeah.
we were almost getting as many points as them. So
Okay.
I totally get it.
And
So-
sorry for interrupting your thought process.
No, so you know, get higher on the world rankings, play a couple more majors. I like playing in Asia. I see myself winning in Asia. So obviously winning in Asia, being high on order merit there, getting my world ranking up. Yeah, and probably playing a couple more majors. And everyone wants to go to PGA Tour. I don't want to go PGA Tour. I want to go to LIV Tour. That's just my kind of thought process.
How amazing, from the first episode, Eric van Rooyen, to we almost didn't want to touch too much on LIV, where 9 months, 10 months
Listen,
later.
I would want to go to LIV tomorrow.
I tell
Snap
you,
my fingers.
120%.
But
But don't get me wrong. Come to me now and say, come
No,
play
for
PGA
sure,
Tour. But I'm
for
just
sure,
saying, like,
for
if
sure.
I had to have that opportunity to choose,
Yeah.
it's just so much more chilled, and it's
yeah,
more
the
of my alley.
vibe's good. It's more money. You're not having to play 28 events
Correct.
in a season. You've got a family.
Yeah.
You want to live life a bit. I mean, he's paid his dues. He's played 17 years and done
Yeah.
really well for himself. So, no, I think it's great.
I
It's
got
good.
counted out for the first LIV event at Centurion.
No way.
Yeah, we had an Asian Tour event in Slaley Hall in Newcastle, and I finished 9th. And it just so happened that the guys that finished ahead of me were already into the field.
Yeah.
And then there was 3 of us tied on 9th, and it was one of us. And it was a count out. They said the guy that had the best front 9 got into the field. So Kevin Wan got in. Normally
the back 9?
It's normally the back 9. I shot 2 over 3 under, so I would have got in. But even in saying that, I kind of said, well, either you go for a playoff
Yeah,
for that amount of
yeah.
money,
100%.
or you go on world ranking. And at the
Yeah.
time, I was 201 or something like that, and the guy that was 1,375 got in. So, but yeah, that's definitely somewhere where I want to be.
If you've ever moaned about
You know,
your count out for Fleiss winning, fuck your
I was
count
just
out.
going to say they're going to have to put the beep again because me, that is pathetic.
For your Fleiss
Holy
Wednesday.
shit.
Your Fleiss Wednesday count out. You know what I mean? That's just unlucky.
Yeah, that is.
And what do you
unlucky.
have to do now to get onto the LIV Tour?
So it's only going to get tougher now.
Is it?
It's only going to get
With
tougher
a
now.
merger, or is it just
It's
the
just-
nature of the beast?
I think now because the merge, it's going to get way tougher now. But there will be an avenue through Asian
Okay,
Tour always because the Saudis are obviously looking after
Yes,
us.
correct.
So Scott Vincent is playing this season
Okay.
because he won the International Series
Okay.
Order of Merit last season. So
Okay.
that'll carry on.
Okay.
So that's one way of looking at it. But yeah, that's definitely somewhere where I want to be. But, you know, even if I, you know, through the Sunshine Tour, get maybe some status on the DP, I'll also be playing there. I'm still, like you say, I feel young, so I can probably play three tours if I really want to. I don't mind the traveling. The jet lag gets to me. Europe, you don't really get much jet lag, so that will be a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that comes along, then definitely something to look at.
Just like Neil. And for I know you've got your, and I just want to mention them, you've got Titus as a sponsor, you've got Ping as a sponsor, RioNet as a sponsor, and Puma
Yes.
clothing. So thank you to all of them for standing by you and being with you all this time. Anything from your side to them?
Yeah, just obviously they've been behind me for a long time now. Puma's been with me now for the last 3 years, just after COVID. They've looked after me. Nick Garner and the boys there are awesome. Arth knows them well.
Yeah, we just got to know them as well.
Yeah, Ping obviously look after me all over the world. The guys in Asia are amazing. Brad Villas, obviously in South Africa, looks after me really well. And then, you know, without my RioNet sponsor, Gava Trichol, I obviously wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing. And then Titleist has been with me since day one. So, you know, yeah, Leonard and the boys they're awesome as well.
Well, Neil, I want to say it's such an honor this morning to sit with you, and so people that's close to my life was so grateful or so jealous that I could sit here with you this morning. And thank you to Julie for everything she's also doing while you were away, and all the hard graft and all the behind the scenes that happens. And thank you for honoring us in such a beautiful and respectful way around South Africa. And we are certainly very proud of you, and we'll be chasing that dream with you to get to live. And wish you all the best on the Asian tour, and just winnings and great future for you for all of your rest of your career. And thank you for taking the time to sit with a very humble show this morning and offer your experience and perspective in golf.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to Arthur not giving me too many tough questions.
100%. Listen, I could ask him a lot of tough questions.
I can imagine.
Just so you know.
I can imagine. But you know, Neil, and I can keep this in, it's that balance, between we a show, and as you know, we do this for passion, it certainly doesn't generate any income. But it's that balance between, you want to sort of have a bit of clickbait, but at the same time, you just want to be respectful and listen to the guy, and my wife this morning nailed it so well. She was just like, from their perspective, every time they listen, they just, anything you say, it's interesting to them. And I know it's a foreign concept, Neil,
Sure.
Because we don't, as South Africans especially, we're very humble in what we do, in most cases. So we don't see it that way. But there's a lot of people that look up to you, a lot of youngsters that chase this dream because of you.
Thank you.
By the way, we did a questionnaire, and one of the questions were, who do you want on our show? And someone said Neil Schietekat.
You were
so
nominated.
thanks to them.
Thank you.
That you're sitting here today.
Thanks to them. Yeah, it's an awesome show. Thanks for having me.
It's actually so funny because it was our first survey, and Neil's the one. Neil, we need Neil. We want to see him. We want to hear from him. And that's why Arthur and I try and talk not too much, but we get excited ourselves. And
yeah, he doesn't excite me though. No, sorry, Neil, that's a joke.
You see, now he's starting with his cut now.
Yeah. He's one of those guys. Once the fight is over, he stands there on the side.
Now he's on the side.
If I was there, boys, you know what I mean? That guy, if he says that to me again, you're that guy, Arthur.
When I woke up this morning and I was like, we're doing Neil, I'm like, okay, what a way to start your Monday.
Yeah.
No, I'm teasing. No, on my notes, Neil, thanks for all the tour days. Good role model, good someone to look up to. Always someone that you could approach, which is amazing, because back in the day there weren't a lot of approachable guys. And good luck for the rest of the season. I think you're going to do well in Asia, and I think you're trending in the right direction at the moment. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for
and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it so much.